channel. Okay, so around 7 weeks ago I uploaded the start of this new project titled Shamal Tandem 50 CFM Compressor Beast Tumbling and Upgrade Part 1. So this video is a follow on from the tumbling process, or to be more precise, it demonstrates the results from using my custom tumbler and my combination or my selection of media. So it was scheduled and uploaded on the 22nd of August, but was removed out of respect for Asimo's passing. I stupidly deleted the video off my channel as I knew everything was on my PC for me to upload it again in the future when the time was right. I should have set the video to private, but I was not in the right state of mind. However, a few days later, when I was uploading and backing up all my PC's files to Google Drive, there was a power outage in the middle of the night. This caused the solid state drive within my PC to become corrupt, sadly. I sent the drive to multiple labs in England who were unable to recover any files, as it's reading empty, even though there was 250 gigabytes of data on it. The most annoying thing is, I was doing a backup at this point on the complete PC. It gets worse. I cleared my camera for Asimo's final days, his final weeks. So all the video clips were deleted for this video part 2. Luckily, I purchased an expensive software package just to retrieve the deleted clips on the camera's SD card to provide this video again. So some of the clips are missing, but some of them are there. I can't exactly undo the work inside the vessel. Well, I could, but it would take too long. I'd be at this project for another year. So I'm going to do my best to bring this video up to the same standard as the first one, the one that's lost, part 2. So this is the first time this has happened during the creating and the uploading of a video, a project to my YouTube channel. I'm grateful I got back around 80% of the video clips. The entire introduction, 6 or 7 video clips were overwritten with Asimo's videos, and I will get into that in a moment. I'm very lucky all Asimo's recent files were backed up before this happened. So the few missing clips were focused on the removal of the media from the vessel, the pre-wash and the final wash. Luckily, I have caught myself doing these tasks on my 4K CCTV. That should help discuss the entire procedure required after the part 1 video. So the camera itself, the CCTV camera, is approximately 20 meters away from the location where I tumbled the vessel. So hopefully you get an idea of what I'm doing, but obviously it's not going to be close up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the media into play once I show the CCTV the different tasks, as I've mentioned there, the removal of the media and the washes. So hopefully it goes well here. This task was vital before any protection methods or procedures was completed. I'm very lucky I recovered all the clips from that point forward. So here we go. If I retrieve the original video, I will upload it then, but I doubt that will happen now. Okay, so I'm just going to give a wee quick discussion here now of what's going to take place in the video clips that follow. So after I demonstrate the effect left on the inner surface, the inner face of the vessel, I will treat the vessel to form a protective barrier to prevent any further corrosion in the future. So this will they achieved using this modified fire extinguisher. So I'm not going to mess about here, I'm going to jump straight into this video now. So starting where I left off laying, which was the last time the vessel was tumbled using the made up media. The next task required was removing the media before washing the inside face of the vessel. So here we go, let's get back into this for the second time. So here we have the CCTV footage of me removing the media and doing the final washes. So this clip really saved the day, or this video. So the media was removed by placing the vessel vertical, resting it on the laths of timber that were used for the rotational balancing technique, with the vessel held with the aluminium brush shaft now and again. I then proceed to poke, jiggle and pull the media down through the 2-inch port with my thumb and my index and my middle finger until all the media fell out. So I'm taking advantage of gravity here. So once the final screw was out and the glass shards were removed, I added kerosene to do a pre-rinse before a final rinse. Before the tumbler was mounted to the vessel to perform a pre-wash, 1 gallon of kerosene was poured into the vessel through the 2-inch port. The tumbler was then run for 1 hour and removed again. The vessel was then drained to remove all the liquid and the leftover fragments of media. The same process was completed to do 1 final wash. Once the oil had evaporated off the inner face of the vessel with the help of a hairdryer, a hoover was then used to get the final pieces of media out through the 2-inch port. A rag tied to a stainless rod was used to speed this process up for the next treatment stage. In this final CCTV clip, the final wash is taking place, where I again dump in fresh kerosene once all the ports are sealed. Here I change the slope of the tumbler to clean all the inner faces. Okay, so here's the media that was removed from the vessel. So I'm quite surprised here for 2 reasons. The chipwood screws, the last time I done this, the chipwood screws lost the point more than they have this time. I'm also surprised here because the shards of glass, well, they're quite long still, they haven't broken down as I thought they would have. Well, obviously there's a lot of smaller pieces here, so if we look at these broken pieces, we can see that the corners of them have lost their sharp edge. So that's obviously been eaten away at the face of the vessel. Again, there's another long glass shard there. So this is tempered glass. The last time I done this, I don't think I used that type of media. I think I used coarse sand grit, sandblasting grit even. So there we go. Quite messy. So that's just the kerosene, the grime from the inside of the vessel. That's why it's discoloured. So obviously there's little bits of metal in there somewhere, little filings. Obviously they're going to be very small. You're not going to see it, but it's in there amongst that mess. So that's us caught up, thankfully. Now on to the recovered clips, focusing on the results and the final protection, the final barrier techniques. Okay, so I've decided to take a set of new photos here of the inside of the vessel. So the reason I've decided to do that is because the batteries in the LED light here were dying and I didn't realise, I didn't catch on. Because the light was always in the vessel. So another reason here is because this new S24 Ultra phone, well, it's a good phone and all, really good phone, but the problem is it's way too advanced for what I'm doing here. So basically when I was placing the S24 phone up to the vessel, it was jumping between the different apertures. So if you look at these apertures, if I bring the phone up close, if you look at these cameras, they are approximately 20 mil apart. So, well, say about maybe 17 mil apart from center to center. So they all have different size apertures. So when I was placing this phone up to the vessel like this, it was deciding to jump to another camera. So this caused some of the photos to be a little bit blurry. So I've decided to use this old S9 Plus phone instead. It's a little bit beat up, but it still works. So that's the second reason. The new batteries, we're going to use this phone instead of this latest S24 Ultra. Another reason is the inside of this vessel has now dried off. So when I'm taking the picture, there won't be like a shiny surface. It'll be like much more duller, and hopefully the camera picks it up better. So we will do this now. Okay, so starting off here by placing this inspection light into the vessel. I get comfortable. So if I take a picture here now looking down the vessel, so picture number one, or shall I say photo number one. How do I get the phone to focus here? So photo number one. So you can see how well the tumbling process worked. So it's really, I can't get over how clear this phone is. It actually looks far clearer than this other phone. Okay, so photo number two here off the right hand side of the vessel. Photo number three off the left hand side of the vessel. Photo number four off the top of the vessel. Photo number five off the bottom of the vessel. Photo number six, looking at the pitted areas that I mentioned earlier. So these pitted areas are approximately a half a mil deep. Considering the vessel, the skin, this sheet steel or this sheet plate, considering it's approximately, well, I mentioned 4 mil earlier, but I don't think it is 4 mil. I was hoping it's 4 mil, but it's 3 mil, I believe. Considering it's 3 mil thick, I have nothing to worry about at the moment. So again, looking down the vessel here, photo number 7. So if we look at this dome part here, we can see how well the tumbling process worked whilst the tumbler was sitting at an angle of approximately 30 degrees. So there's not a bit of rust left. Again, I'll just take one more photo here. I'll get a nice clear one. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So you can see that the damp patch still exists. So that will dry off before I apply the wax. So I will do that now. I will stick the hairdryer back in here to get that little patch dry. Really, really good. I just can't get over how clear the photo is, the image, compared to this latest phone, this latest device. Obviously, as I say, when the camera is placed up to the vessel, it starts jumping between the different cameras, or when the phone's placed up to the vessel, shall I say, and in turn that ruins the quality of the photo or of the image. So we'll let this dry off now for another 15 minutes. Make sure she's up full whack here. All good. Okay, so before I apply the wax, I mentioned this pitted area at this side of the vessel, at the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is spray some of this RC 900 rust inhibitor in. So basically just to sort of, it states it's a rust converter and primer. So I actually swear by this stuff. I use it for all my project cars. Obviously we're not going to be able to spray the far end of the vessel, but if I get approximately 8 inches in this way, or even 1 foot, that will be more than enough. So the Waxoyl will do the rest. So the Waxoyl itself states it kills old rust, prevents new rust. So yeah, I'm dependent on this to act as the barrier for the rest of the vessel. So here we go. We will spray some of this rust inhibitor in. Quite tricky. Should be wearing a mask too, but you know me. I might actually get up further than that. What I was going to do is I was going to pierce the tin, remove the gas and dump this in, but I think that might be overkill. The Waxoyl will do the trick. But then again, you know me, I might start dreaming overnight and come out here in the morning and bust this tin open and pour it up the other end of the vessel, but that should be more than enough for the meantime. So I will let that settle now, then I will take another picture and demonstrate what this rust converter has done. So any pitted areas should turn black. So that will do for now. Okay, so it's been 12 hours since I sprayed this Dinitrol RC 900 rust converter to the inside of the vessel. So I'm just back from the gym here, so every little minute counts. I'm now going to take a few photos here of the inside of the vessel and what it looks like now. So when I get this phone set up. Okay, so looking down the vessel here, we can see that I have the rust inhibitor right down to the opposite end. So photo number 1. Photo number 2, I'm going to take off the pitted area at the bottom of the vessel. So you can see how this rust inhibitor is doing what it's meant to do. So it's creating a barrier too, much like the Waxoyl. So what I'm going to do here now, well, I should point out, I had this vessel in an upright position when I was spraying the final coat of this rust converter into it last night. So it was 11 o'clock last night, and basically what I done is went round in circles, wiggling the can at the top of the vessel. Then what I done is I capped it so that everything, all this liquid was in the surrounding vessel and not coming out of it, of course. So what I'm going to do here now is start applying this Waxoyl. So first things first, I'm going to heat it up here using this little stove. So we'll turn it on here and set it low. So that'll do here, about there. So we have the blue flame. We'll just set that on like that for about 10 minutes. Then I will pour it into this fire extinguisher, this device that I have made up here. So to do that, I will remove this part of the fire extinguisher. So basically it's just a valve. And what I'm going to do then is start a small compressor that's outside the garage here. To fill this with obviously compressed air. So I think I will probably set the compressor to around 100 psi. This will be half full with wax. Well, I mightn't go halfway, I might go about a quarter of the way for the meantime. Let me see if I can set this down low. There now. So I might go a quarter of the way, then we will start spraying it to the inside of the vessel. So hopefully it all goes well here. I'll let this heat. I can actually hear it bubbling already. What do we see here? Oh yeah, it's like water now, look. You might be able to hear that if I shake it. Okay, so I'll let that heat for another 5 minutes. Okay, that's it, ready. So I'm now going to pour this straight into this fire extinguisher. Probably about half of it. So we'll turn this off. So I need to wax here because hot wax will stick to your skin. Look at you can see how hot it is here. So I'll go around this side just to show this. So I'll give it a good shake when it's in the fire extinguisher. Because there's bits watery and there's bits like a wee bit sludgy. So you know what I'll do here? I'll zoom the camera in closer. I'll bring it up a wee bit closer to you maybe. So here we go again. So you can see there how some of it's lumpy. It needs a wee mix. You know what? I'll pour the whole lot into this. It'll do for something else in the future. Oh, messy. It's harder than I thought to get out of this can, this jar. So we're nearly empty here now. I zoom out again. If it filled up too much, we no room for the air. There we go now. So what I'm going to do here now is place this fire extinguisher on the burner, or sorry, on the stove. So it's about half full there now. But I just get a wee closer look here. Yeah, it's definitely over half full. So it's up to about there. So that'll do. Looks like candle wax here when it's cooled down. So that's the way I want it to be inside the vessel. Obviously it'll go a wee bit thicker than that. So I'll heat the fire extinguisher here now. There we go. So hopefully you can see that nice and clear. So there's a rubber seal on this. We have the flame going here, full whack. So I'll let this heat now for probably 15 minutes. Then we will get to work. So all's going well. Okay, so what I'm doing here before I start is I'm just heating this jar. Need the wax because it's compressed. Because I'm heating it. So I'm heating it up so that any wax inside it, well, any thick wax becomes much like liquid. Whoa! Oh, it's hot, too hot to lift now. Need to wax the legs here. So I should point out, this jar of wax was £50. So a gallon of this wax is £50, it's quite expensive. This Danitro RC 900, as I mentioned before, I swear by it. I use it for cars and car shells. That's actually £40 a tin for 400ml. So I'll pour the rest of us in here. Oh jeepers, Jeffrey, don't wreck this. This jar, this can's roasting. So that's it all out. You get that on the skin there, it'll peel the skin off you. So that's it empty. So I'm just gonna grab a wee sample here of this wax. So there's what this wax looks like when it's not obviously roasting hot. Obviously it's melting because it's on my finger. But it goes quite thick. Goes yellow too, it's meant to be clear at. So back on the stove. That jar's still going mad there because I heated it too much. I'll open this lid. There we go, so let that heat for 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll do a wee dance here to shake this up. Oh, it's heavy. Oh. Okay, so the fire extinguisher is now, well, it's quite hot. So what I'm going to do here before I start spraying the inside of the vessel, I'm going to just demonstrate this device working, or this fire extinguisher, this modified fire extinguisher. So I have the air here from the compressor outside, the compressed air. The compressor is set at 120 psi. I'll turn this off, the stove. Okay, so hopefully this goes well here. Woo! Okay, so that sounded unsafe. I'm only joking, it's okay. So What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to zoom into this cardboard. And I'm going to, so this vessel now is, well, it has compressed air, half full, and it has the wax at the bottom. So it's boiling wax, so I need to be careful here. So I'm going to spray this piece of cardboard now just to sample of, well, how this device works. So here we go. Remember, I have the nozzle flattened at approximately 0.5 by 5 mil. So here we go. Whoa. Okay, so that's mental. So you can see there how well it works, but there's actually wax over the stove here now too. So what I'm going to do here is I need to regulate the air. I need to screw the compressor down a bit, I think, because, well, I need that pressure behind that to actually push or spray the wax up the length of the vessel. So I'm going to start spraying the vessel here now, so I'll just move this camera around a wee bit. There. And I need a torch. So what I'm going to do, another thing I should point out here, I mentioned before, this is the outlet of the vessel, so I won't be putting any wax near this area or this point. So here we go. Need 3 hands here. So I'll need the torch. Might just put the torch on it. I'll do the other side of the vessel. Okay, so that will do for the meantime. I just give it a couple of good licks, and the reason I pulled the fitting off there, the pipe, is because the nozzle sort of stuck. Hasn't been used in a while. But let's get a look at this now. We'll take a few photos here. This torch is going to be messy. So I'll take a few photos of what just happened. So I wiggled the nozzle of the fire extinguisher there. You can't see nothing at the minute, but it looks great. It looks like snow around the vessel. Like a white texture. Looks really even. So I'll take a picture here of the wax in the air until it settles. Okay, so the sweat is running off me. So what I'll do here is I'll wait till that settles. Then I will take a few photos again, and after that I will go to the other end and spray down this way. But I won't be putting too much wax around this area of the vessel here on the inside. Again, I'm going to give it another coat. So you're probably thinking I didn't put a lot of wax on it, but when I show the photos here in a wee moment, you will see that there's a lot of wax on the walls. So basically what I done there with the torch in is I went like this. I wiggled to try and cover the entire face, this rolled face and the dome face at the other end. Yeah, so all's good. Okay, so again, I'm going to keep the torch out this time so it doesn't get in my way, so I can use this round fitting as a sort of a place to rotate the hose. So here we go again. It's getting messy here, my hands are getting all wax, but so I'm going to place this nozzle on to focus on this area and give it big wiggles. So I'll demonstrate that. But again, I have to pull this compressed air hose off because the valve sort of sticks open at the end, and I don't want it to be like a lot of thick wax in there, if that makes sense. I want it sort of like a mist on the wall. So here we go. Oh. Not working now. Why is it not working? I think the hose or the wax is sort of hardened up at the end of the tip. You know what? We're going to start this compressor up outside. Okay, so the nozzle actually blocked up there. Because I've got it squeezed into a really small, well, groove. I think a bit of dirt or something was in this canister. But I've it cleared now. Hopefully this valve doesn't stick again. Because when I pull this pipe off, wax is actually hitting me in the flipping face. So, okay. I'm going to take a few pictures. And then we will move on. So this is just pictures of the first little trial we done here. So it looks good. It looks really good. You can see there on the side wall. So we'll go photo number 1 here. There on the side wall, you can see how the wax sort of run down the wall because I couldn't get the valve unstuck on the fire extinguisher. But if we look down the vessel here, photo number 2, we can see how even the wax has been applied because I was wiggling it around this fitting on the compressor or the vessel itself. This time the torch won't be in the way. So here we go, take 2. So hopefully this time we have no problems. So this here is currently hot. I've just brought it off the stove. The fire extinguisher is hot here. So here we go. We'll set it over here so we get as much length on the hose as possible. So we can wiggle this. So this time there's no torch in the way. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And we have nothing again. So this nozzle must be, the wax must be too thick for the nozzle. So what do you see if I get this working here? Maybe by giving it a wee heat. There we go. So it's going there now. You can hear it there. This is probably the final coat, to be honest. Woo, the sweat running off me. So that was a good, shall I say, a good licking. The sweat's running off me. So the nozzle, because the wax, when the wax is cooling down on the end of the nozzle, because I've shaped it to spray, it starts hardening up. So it wasn't dirt at all. The second time confirmed it there. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go and get washed. I'm going to clean this place up. We will take the final pictures to wrap this video up. I'm not sure if I'm going to add any pumps on part 2 here, any motors. I think I'll just wrap this video up now, and then part 3 we will follow on with the motors, the pumps, confirming the belt size, tapping the holes in this platform, making the pipes to feed the vessel, and wiring up the vessel itself. So yeah, it's all going well. So yeah, we'll continue on here. I'll clean this place up and then we'll wrap this video up. What a mess. Okay, so I was driving down the road one day and a guy that knows me says to me, "What are you doing with this blue thing spinning around in the garden?" I explained the situation and what I'm doing and that I'm tumbling it to clean the inside. Then I told them I'm going to spray a barrier, a protective coating inside it, a wax, and they were like, oh, you can't do that if you're going to spray vehicles with it, or would it not cause issues? So I'm just going to give a wee explanation here on what will happen when you spray the wax to the vessel on the inside, as I have done already. So this is the outlet from the compressor, the vessel. Well, it's at the other side, but it's the same thing. So if you imagine an outlet at this point, and you have your feed pipes here going in, that wax is clinging to the walls of the vessel. Okay, so it's not regurgitated into the air. It'd be different if this port was at the bottom of the vessel. Then you could say that the wax would make its way into the airline. But because we have the port halfway up on the vessel, and also we don't have wax around this area on the inside, so I've kept the wax away from this end, the port where I'm taking the air out of. So I'm just going to go on to one of my cars here that I painted, just to show this. So here we have one of my project cars. So this car was painted, I think it must be 7 years ago or 5 years ago. So the paintwork still looks perfect to this day. Obviously it's really dirty, it needs washed, but there's no pimples, there's no blisters, nothing has appeared, and that compressor had wax in it the time that I painted this car. So there's bugs and everything lying on it, but it really is immaculate still. So all my projects, I have used this compressor, this vessel, to paint them. So if you look at this poster, if we look at this powder coating booth, that was painted using this vessel, this compressor. This paraffin heater, these tanks, this enamel paint was painted using this vessel. So what I'm trying to say is the wax has no effect to the paintwork. This powder coating oven, this surround, is also painted using this vessel. The paint is still perfect to this day. There's no blisters, there's no wax in the paint. So I just wanted to get that across, just in case anybody thought it's a stupid thing to do, but obviously it's not. So there we go. Now that I have covered this entire process in detail, for the next video I can move on to other interesting tasks to finish this project off. For example, mounting these larger pumps and these larger motors. Well, I only have one pump and one motor on the vessel at the moment. So these pumps and these motors will need to be mounted to this platform, these channels. So channel 1, channel 2. But also, when that's completed, I will need to reroute new suitable supply lines from both pumps to the vessel. When I say suitable, I need to spec the lines. So the pipes, the fittings, the joint type, that being flare joints or compression joints, or even these BSP fittings. So the material also needs to be taken into consideration, the sizing, the maximum temperature these fittings, these pipes can withstand, but also keeping in mind the maximum pressure of these fittings so that I don't underrate them, so that they are specified to the pump's requirements. Other important tasks needs to be completed so this project can excel, such as the rewiring of these higher powered, higher wattage motors from this control panel seen to the left of me here to the terminal box on top of the motors. Other crucial components need to be examined within this control box. For example, the contactors, so that's the contactors for the motors. So each motor has a contactor each. So these contactors need to be rated, so that's across the points, across the contacts for these heavier motors. Also, the supply wires feeding these contactors need to be rated 2 to match these motors, and also the thermal overloads at the bottom of the contactors also need to be rated for these heavier motors. So that all must come in the next part 3, along with the selection of the V pulleys, the size and the type, to the fitment of these 4 pulleys, to the selection of the 2 V belts, also size and type, including the fitment of the new drain valve, the non-return valve, the check valve, and the new pressure switch. When this compressor beast, this project, is up and running in part 3, a final part 4 will follow, where I will create a custom stainless steel guard for this custom setup to add protection from the rotating belts and the pulleys. I will more than likely be using my own custom high-powered wireframe welder to weld it together. That's appearing on the screen now. So this welder was designed for another project, but I will use it to complete this compressor project. I will also do the finishing touches with a demonstration of the pumps filling the 270 litre vessel to 150 psi, which should have a 50% decrease in filling time over the previous standard setup. So the filling time will nearly be halved. So that's it, everyone. If you want to see this project, this beast, evolve, please subscribe and hit the post notifications bell to see all the latest from my channel. Also, other interesting projects will follow very soon, such as my one-of-a-kind 100 miles per hour e-bike, and my unique mechanical iris, my aperture, and my unique smart glove. So I mentioned the e-bike there. So that e-bike is the first e-bike that has appeared on my channel. I have now decided to build another e-bike alongside it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the second e-bike that I'm building will be custom designed, so it'll be my design. It will be designed from nothing. I won't be using any mountain bike frame or anything like that. I will be designing my own frame, and I will be manufacturing it here in the garage out of more polished stainless steel. So I've seen, well, hundreds of bikes across the world, across different forums, and there's lots of people that put motors into bikes, into mountain bikes, just as I'm doing with my green bike, the Green Beast I called it. But I haven't seen nobody, well, I've seen people manufacturing frames, but I haven't seen them fabricating frames out of sheet metal. So I want to do something that looks very futuristic, something that looks mental, something that looks unique and different, like some of my projects. So I have a lot ahead of me. Remember, you won't see these kind of projects anywhere else. The tremendous time, the effort and the dedication towards all these projects is something I've worked for since a very young age to achieve the things I do lonesome. Watch this space, it's only beginning to get more exciting. Thank you and goodbye.